Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Tales from the Creeps reading. What is this? Come and creep your cast. Come and creep your cast. Again, I'm just reading whatever stories new uploaded 17 minutes ago. The Crimson Mofo. There's gonna be like no editing whatsoever. I did that last time and it took like 2 hours. Oh, it was terrible. So I'm not doing that again. So the Crimson Mofo, once again, a little interesting little creature. What is karma? He's got, I don't know. I do not use Reddit. Okay, I only use Reddit for this. I'm not a Redditor. You see my recent voice acting free. I was in that subreddit thinking it was I don't know how subreddit works, but somehow this is in my recents now. So November 6, 2008. Oh, sorry. The Room. November 6, 2008. Mom. I made it to Grandpa Dave's place. You weren't kidding about the signal out here. I figured that out fast. Hence the letter. Oh, it's a letter. Cool. What do they even do at the observatory? That's so important. I guess my laptop's basically a paperweight now. I found the keys under the mat, but I haven't seen Grandpa yet. It looks like he's been doing some remodeling. Did his letter say anything besides needing an extra hand? Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for him. He's probably just out and about. Feed Tippy for me. Oh, sorry. Feed Tippy for me. Love you. Okay, so based off of the first letter, he was there. He looked all over for Grandpa, couldn't have found it, sat down, wrote a letter. Has he been remodeling the place? What does that mean? Are their walls torn down or what? November 8th, 2008. Hi, Mom. I'm getting a little worried. 2 days later, still haven't seen Grandpa at all. I know he's always marched to his own drum, but it's been 2 days. I was poking around and found a few things left out. A half-drunken coffee mug, some chicken twang. I cleaned it up and turned off the lights in his room. They've been on for a while. Please don't tell him I snooped. Oh, I think I found the room he's working on. There's this weird little hallway halfway down the stairs to the cellar. I've never seen anything like it. He's strung up the lights, and if you follow them long enough, they lead to a room bigger than I expected, like 2 of my beds side by side and 4 deep. And it leads to a room, and at least a room bigger than I expected, like 2 of my beds side by side and 4 deep. What? It doesn't sound like a very big room, but I guess it's just bigger than what he expected. There's a sledgehammer and some tools, but the coolest thing is the big door what do you mean he uncovered? Like he discovered it? None of the keys work, and there are these red roots covering it. I had no idea this place was so big. I don't even know where the room would be in relation to the house. I think Grandpa probably drove to town to get a key made. Huh? How far away is town? Because he's been gone for at least 3 days. Because you got here, didn't see him all day. So he's probably, well, it doesn't matter. I found some molds in the room, so that's my best guess. I'll keep poking around. Hope you and Tippy are doing well. Miss you both. Love you. Of course, this is a cat person. Mom. Sorry, November 9th, 2008. Good year. Mom, I'm getting kind of freaked out here. Also, why did you choose that year? Maybe we'll find out later. I'm kind of getting freaked out here. I don't know many pairs of shoes Grandpa owns, but there's only 1 pair in his closet. I found his wallet in his bedside table too, which is weird. If he really went into town, then why doesn't he have his wallet? I walked down the road to his neighbors and asked if they'd seen him. They said the last time they saw him, he was driving home with a bunch of tools in his trunks about 3 weeks ago. He's been like in his house for at least 3 weeks. Oh, I guess if he finds his truck, I don't know. Um, I guess with them being so far away, I shouldn't take everything at face value. It's not like they'd see him once. It's not like they'd always see him come and go. Okay, so this spells what I just said. My apologies. I checked the detached garage and tried a few of the keys. I found one. One worked, and Grandpa's truck is still in there, but it doesn't look like it's been used in a while. Body wouldn't even start. Where is Grandpa? I love you. Give Tippy my best. It's a cat, man. If your cat, if you got, never mind. No, I'm not gonna get into the whole cat thing. I don't hate cats, okay? It's just, nope, not getting into it. Where is Grandpa? November 10th, 2008, another day later. Still no sign of Grandpa. Went back into the strange room to see if I could find any clue about where he might have gone. Mixed in with the pile of tools, I found a receipt for a key. I'm thinking it was for the door with red roots. It's 2008. Where can you get a key made with a mold? I don't see the key anywhere. Even if I did, I don't understand how anyone, even Grandpa, could get behind that door with all the overgrowth covering it. I'm kind of lost on where this door is, and I'm not going to reread it to find out. My apologies. Maybe I should walk to the sheriff's tomorrow. I really wish I could call you. I don't like being here alone. Why don't you have the neighbor give you a ride? I miss you. I miss Tippy too. I love you both. It's a cat, man. November 11th, 2008. Mom, you might as well just start saying Tippy, right? I need to come back. I need to come home. I went back to the red door again, and right at the base of it was this red metal key. It looks like it matches the mold Grandpa made. The weirdest part is the roots are gone, and the door looks paler. I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely different. The whole house feels strange all of a sudden. I was already a little bit off being here alone, but now it feels like someone else is here. Like someone always just out of view, or maybe always in view? Question mark. I don't know. I'm starting to feel crazy, and the house keeps creaking. Freaked out, but still loving you. I just want to cuddle with Tippy and get out of here. If he mentions this cat one more time, P.S. Also, freaked out, but still loving you. Compared to, like, is it your mom's fault? Is it your, what do you mean? Like, as if, like, if somebody kills you, you would stop loving your mom? Doesn't matter. P.S. Any chance you can book me a trip back home? Question mark. I think someone more qualified needs to look for Grandpa. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. November 12th, 2008. Mom, I'm leaving tonight. Hopefully you'll see me soon. I'm going to go and keep walking. I don't feel safe. Something weird is going on. Why don't you get a ride from the neighbor? You introduced the neighbor into the story for that one fact, and now it's coming back to bite you. I went to the door again, and now it's almost white. I couldn't resist. I used the key. It opened up into another room, a small red room, red rum, with roots everywhere. In the center was a table. Hanging above it, held up by the roots, was a hand clutched a pen. It was a hand clutching a pen. The hand was moving, writing on the paper. It said, "Send help. I need a hand." I didn't stick around. The hand looked old. Could it be Grandpa? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm not staying here anymore. There's this pit in my gut that won't go away. This is my last letter. I'm only writing to tell you I'm trying to get home, so you don't freak out if you don't hear from me in a couple of days. Love you. I'll see you in Tippy soon. November 13th, 2008. Mom, everything is fine. Come help me. I need some eyes. Come soon. Come. What is this? What is this? The useful help AI assistant. I will say the only thing that I like about this is that they're not using the corporate art. Doesn't matter. Probably generated by AI. So this story, I saw a hand. Oh, wait, hold on. I opened into another small red room with roots everywhere. In the center was a table. Hanging over it, held up by roots, was a hand clutching a pen. I really don't understand what it is that I'm looking at here. It opened up into another room, a small red room with roots everywhere. Okay, so there's roots growing on the floor, up the walls, and in the ceiling. In the center was a table. Okay, so just a normal table, probably some roots and vines growing up over it. And hanging above it, held up by those roots, was a hand clutching a pen. So it was just a hand writing a letter, but then how'd the letter get to the mailbox? And how did where did the vine get the stamp and the envelope and the paper and the pen? And also, this is my last letter. I'm only writing to tell you I'm trying to get home. So, oh yeah, this is what it. I didn't stick around. The hand looked old. Could it be Grandpa's? Gotta say it out loud, right? You couldn't just be like, you just had to say it out loud. Could it be Grandpa? I'm not staying here anymore. There's a pit in my stomach that won't go away. So really, the 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 chopped off hand held together by roots that's writing, send help, I need a hand, that you're not going to stay in the house anymore. Really? I thought you would stick around and look for Grandpa, even though there's a dismembered hand writing letters. Either way, other than that pretty harsh critique, I would say I like the premise. It's like a classic premise of a guy going to his grandpa's house. We don't really know the age. Going to his grandpa's house to give him a hand. Clearly, he's not an adult because he needs his mom to get back, and he's also obsessed with a cat, Tippy. So, sorry, I'm going back into critiques. The Yeah, it's a very interesting premise. Overall, I like the idea of the grandpa kind of getting involved in the spooky thing, and then you're just kind of in this mansion. Um, I understand. I think my biggest thing, obviously, it's just a quick short story they wrote. Fun idea. The one thing I don't like primarily is just you mentioned the neighbors, but they never added anything to the story other than the last time I saw him driving home was with a bunch of tools in his trucks about 3 weeks ago. So I'm just trying to think if there was anything else that you could do um, to get this information without introducing the neighbors. Because all the neighbors have done is make me say, why are you walking? Why don't you just catch a ride to town? Why don't you catch a ride to the sheriff? Um, why don't you, you have these neighbors here. And I feel like they've only taken away from the story to just simply say, he's been missing for at least 3 weeks and he got a bunch of tools, bought a bunch of tools. Yeah, so that's my biggest thing. If this was just kind of like a shoot it out there and see how it does and kind of see how you feel about it, it's definitely yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's short and sweet, right? Didn't like drag on for this reveal. Um, yeah, letter by letter, and then for the payoff, I do like the payoff. Just transforms. Mom, everything is fine. Come help me. I need some eyes. Come soon. Come, and then it goes from I need hands to I need some eyes, which I like that. So it's building up. But if the grandpa already had a hand, then why did he ask for another hand? Or it just wants more eyes than it already has. I don't know, but that's just being a bit nitpicky. But yeah, overall, I like the story. So, leave a little comment here. Just read your story. What should we say? I'm saying we. Just read your story. I like the Vine takeover idea. I just read your story live and it will be uploaded here. I made this YouTube channel mostly just to read stories, because I know if I wrote stories, I'd like somebody to read them, and even better if they get a more reaction here. Cool. Next. Refresh. Daniel Mercury. It's pretty long. Alright, I guess we'll give it a try. It's by Indevitable Stupid Advisor. He I don't know what this means. Posts. I'm confused. Okay, so he wrote it here and then re-uploaded it here. I guess. Yep. So that's what his channel's about. So by the time I met Dr. Evanly Harper, I had already lost most of my memory. Not in the dramatic way people mean. They talk about wasted years. I had a job. I paid rent. I answered emails. I remember birthdays badly enough to prove I was still human. On paper, I existed with all the usual dull paperwork that convinces society you are a functioning adult. All right, next story. 13 signs a woman is interested in you. Okay. Leonard Bobacki. Nice writer here. England Ice Shell. England Incel. Oh man, that's a good name. England Incel. And it's very ironic that England Incel is writing a story, 13 Signs a Woman is Interested in You. Leonard Bobacki stared into the mirror bathroom cabinet. Two small brown eyes, unremarkable and burning with tiredness, sat close together on his rounded face. He leant in close and inspected his reflection, plucking a lone silvery gray hair from his scalp. Leonard sighed. This was the third night in a row that he dreamt of the black bog. On his way to work, he picked up a warm sausage roll and a cup of coffee. Is this some England thing? Must be, because I've never heard of a right. Okay. You absolute disgusting freaks. A cup of coffee from the bakery. He sat in the car park and ate alone while scrolling through an article on his phone about body language. 13 Signs a Woman is Interested in You. The title read. He finished off his coffee and continued his journey. The morning work seemed to drag, and Leonard found himself checking the clock in the ticket office more than usual. His lunch break loomed over him like Judgment Day. He was already starting to feel sick, probably that disgusting sausage roll you ate. When 1 o'clock finally came around, he picked up his satchel and locked the door to the office. He politely told an elderly couple standing in the doorway that they'd have to move on to the platform as he was locking up for his lunch break. They complied. What? Oh, ticket office. He carefully rested his satchel on the passenger seat before maneuvering his large frame. Yeah, he probably slammed. He said, yeah, a warm sausage roll. He probably ate like 5 of them things. Large frame to the driver's side of his old Toyota. It must have been close to 35 degrees inside. Celsius, or I'm going to assume Celsius because he's a British quote unquote person. His mouth felt dry like he swallowed sand. The beads of sweat began forming on his forehead. Leonard reached into his satchel and pulled out a small box covered in navy blue velvet. He flipped the lid open to reveal a delicately painted china horse nestled against the satin lining box. Carefully, he closed the lid and returned it to the satchel. I'm assuming a china horse is like a porcelain horse. So it's either what the so it's the horse and China history and mythology. I I'm guessing it's this. I'm guessing it's that. Nestled snugly against the satin. Yeah, I can't close the lid. Sometime later, Leonard pulled into the car park at the back of row of shops, his heart pounding fast in his chest. He dabbed his forehead with a handkerchief and looked himself over. He's got the meat sweats from all those sausage rolls he ate. Don't have a panic attack. You don't have a panic attack. You can do this. Leonard tucked his blue velvet box inside of his pocket and made his way toward the shops. He entered the pharmacy, immediately losing his feeling in his legs when he saw her. She was kneeling on the floor in the corner of an aisle, stacking boxes of ibuprofen onto his shelf. Leonard thought about turning around and leaving, but deep down he knew if he didn't say something now, he never would. A lump formed in his throat as he approached. She suddenly turned around to find him standing almost over her. "Oh gosh, Leonard," laughed the woman. "You startled me." "Oh, sorry, Erica. I didn't mean to do that." I'm trying to like sound like a obese man's voice, and it's coming out southern. Sorry. I can't do it. "Oh, sorry, Erica," Leonard replied. I didn't mean to. Erica smiled. Ew. Oh, she's perfect, Leonard thought, wiping more sausage sweat from his brow. There was a long, drawn-out silence. Only the wheezing of a morbidly obese man could be heard. "So can I help you with anything?" Erica finally asked, tucking a strawberry blondie bang behind her ear. A small silver earring of a bucking horse presented itself on her lobe, her favorite earrings. It's another mention of horse. Leonard's moist, sweaty, sausage grease-riddled hands reached out for the blue velvet box in his pocket. Tucking hair behind ear. That was sign number 7 of the 13 signs a woman is interested in you. Nope, that's being nitpicky. So, I was thinking maybe we could. Something bubbled in Leonard's throat. All those sausage rolls he ate was coming back to bite him. He tried to swallow back the bile and sausage grease to recompose himself. "What's the matter?" Erica laughed. I was thinking maybe you and I could try to get a sausage roll. Leonard tried forming another word. Instead, a stream of partly I just laughed so loud. Leonard tried forming another word. Instead, a stream of partly digested sausage rolls mixed with coffee suddenly shot out of his mouth, splashing onto Erica's work apron. She recoiled. Oh, gosh. Erica cried. Leonard, are you okay? His round, thick, greasy face flushed bright red. Debbie, can you bring a towel, please? Erica called towards the... Debbie, can you bring a towel, please? Erica called towards the till. Leonard turned around and rushed out of the pharmacy with vomit and sausage roll chunks dripping down his chin. On his way back to the car park, he passed through a rubbish bin when he stopped to throw the blue velvet box inside. Once he got to his car, he opened the door. Sausage rolled wrappers tumbled to the ground, and he pressed some to the side so he could get into his Toyota and cried. That night, Leonard laid awake in his flat. That's it. I'm going to die alone. Why can't I just tell her how I feel? He turned over in his bed, crushing, whining, creaking wood and springs crushing followed. Eventually, he drifted off to sleep, beg sagging, wood moaning. The dream started just as the others did. Leonard found himself submerged in a strange, black, oily liquid made from sausage rolls, his formless body held down by the impossible weight of the giant rolls of sausage. In his dream, however, he decided not to struggle against it. Yeah, he didn't struggle against the sausage rolls, huh? The pressing body of an inker, I don't know how to read. Instead, allowing it to push him further down. It was easy. He simply stopped struggling. After millions of years of slamming down sausage rolls and sinking into its grease, he finally reached the nucleus. Leonard stood anxiously upon the Leviathan structure with his feet. He didn't yet process. Below him, a man with limbs called out. Knock, knock, knock. Leonard woke. Am I still dreaming? Knock, knock, knock. Leonard looked at the digital clock by his bedside. 3:04 a.m. He stumbled out of bed and headed for the fridge. Afterwards, for the front door. Who is it? He called. It's Erica. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have thrown away that horse, you idiot. Leonard's heart started thumping in his chest. I'm definitely still dreaming. He took a deep breath and wiped the sausage grease and crumbs off his chin and mouth and opened the door to find Erica standing on the doorstep. She brushed her strawberry blonde hair bang behind her ear. Can I come in? She asked. Sorry, what? Leonard said. Can I come in? Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, come in, Leonard replied. What's the matter? Erica moved into the hallway and took off her shoes. What's the matter? She repeated blankly. Ew. Nothing. I'm really sorry about yesterday. You keep saying sorry. Leonard started before catching himself. Erica shut the door and moved into his living room. Wow, nice place, even with the smell of old grease and wrappers. Are you okay, Erica? You're acting strange. Strange? She repeatedly blinked from across the dark living room. Was this, inspired by the obsession? Leonard stood in the hallway, unsure of what to say. Yeah, a little bit. A thought suddenly crossed his mind. How did you find out where I lived? I never told you. That's kind of creepy. Erica sat down on the sofa. Do you think about me? She asked. Leonard blushed. Ew. What do you mean? Do you think about penetrating me? Leonard laughed nervously. It's okay, she smiled. Come and sit down. If this was inspired by the obsession, I think that's fine. I just think you should kind of wear it with like a, wear it proudly. Be like, hey, this was an inspiration for my story. There's nothing wrong with doing your take on the obsession. I think it's really fun and creative. I prefer somebody taking an existing idea and turning to something new versus a fan fiction. Done drinking. Um, I don't know if this is a good idea, Leonard protested. I don't think of you like that, no. I mean, I do, but I didn't think you felt the same way. I love you, Leonard Bobacki, Eric said, radiating the same warmth that she did just months ago. Huh? The first time Leonard had plucked up the courage to ask her which hay fever tables she would recommend. Fever tablets she would recommend. Yes, it's definitely a dream. I love you too, Erica. After they had sex, the two lovers fell asleep in each other's arms. Old sausage roll grease provided as a lubricant. That was not meant to be a sexual joke. I apologize. I was just envisioning just like a grease covered man, a very obese grease covered man, kind of like clutching around a very small petite woman. And it really grossed me out. Leonard slept through the sound of his morning alarm coming from the clock in his bedroom, waking an hour late to find Erica no longer laying beside him. He got up and checked the time. 7:25. Crap, I'm gonna be fired. Erica, he called. No answer. She must have left for work. Leonard pulled up some grease-stained clothes and grabbed his keys, slamming the front door as he left. He made his journey to work as quickly as he can, but on his way he stopped at a sausage roll stand and quickly pushed past everybody, slamming a handful of cash down on the table before grabbing a fistful of sausage rolls. But still, he opened the ticket office an hour and a half late. Thankfully, he'd left the side gate open and even the evening prior, so the morning commuters could still access the platform in his absence. He sat in the office and stared at the map of London Underground system on the wall. Still in complete disbelief of the morning events, suddenly he felt very sick. He shouldn't have eaten the sausage rolls again. Leonard rushed to the men's room. Oddly, a single cubicle door was locked shut. What? What do you mean you're the first one here? The first employee here? It's an employee's only bathroom, I'm guessing. He lowered himself to the ground, peering through the gap under the door. What a perv to see the torso of a young man jammed between the toilet and the cubicle. No, 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 no. I didn't check the toilets before I locked up yesterday. So it is public. So then if the gates were open, and I don't know. I don't know how London works. They probably do have like 8 locks on the bathroom doors. Roughly 5 hours earlier, Erica listened closely to Leonard's rhythmic breathing and the slow hum of a CPAP machine. As he slept peacefully beside her on the sofa, she gently lifted his thick, grease-covered, chubby forearm from her slim waist and then slipped her shoes on in the hallway. He stirred and gurgled in his sleep as she carefully pulled the front door shut behind her. Completely naked, save for her shoes, Erica walked calmly down the street and sat in her parked Fiat. She found her keys where she left them under the seat and began to drive. Since the dream started, she always knew exactly where to go without even having to think. Erica drove for some time, eventually parking her car in a dirt lay-by where she got out. The sun was beginning to rise, and the air felt pleasantly cool as she passed through the tree line on the roadside. She began walking through the shade forest and soon passed by the colossal trees with the orange husky bark. Something inside her told her she was going the right way. The trees abruptly thinned out, and Erica suddenly found herself at the edge of a lake. A light mist rolled off the surface of the water, which sparkled beautifully under the morning sun. Erica slipped off her shoes and walked in the shallows. Once the water was level with her knees, she squatted down and began urinating. She looked around to see the edges of the lake littered with more naked women, all of them squatting and urinating into the water like her. Erica smiled. Okay, so see, it's like where I'm struggling right now is trying to decide how much effort I should think about looking into the story. Because either, I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I just mean like, I guess an example, I'm not comparing this word to happy appy, but the example I give is happy appy. The writer did not put in the effort worth for you to sit down and think about it and try to figure it out. Right? So I'm not saying the story is that, but I just don't know. I mean, there's not really a lot here. There's a guy obsessed with sausage rolls. The story mentions sausage rolls like 100 times. I lost count. And then just 13 signs a woman is interested in you. Very interesting premise, just based off the title. An obese guy, he threw up on her, and then he had a really weird dream about sinking. Let's read that again. Yeah, start out as the others did. The only difference is, Leonard found himself submerged in a strange, black, sausage grease, oily liquid, his formless body held down by a giant sausage roll and its impossible weight. In the dream, however, he decided not to struggle against it. So we don't know. Oh, wait. No, the dream started just like as the others did. So we don't know if this is his first time not struggling against it or not. He decided not to struggle against it, pressing body of Iker instead of allowing it to push him further below. I don't know what that word is. It's easier. Let's look it up real quick. Oh, wow, that is not Control C. Control C. Primarily has two distinct definitions: a mythical ethereal fluid that flows in the veins of grease. Okay, so it's just another word for sausage grease. He decided not to struggle against the pressing body of sausage grease, instead allowing it to push him further below. It was easy. He simply stopped struggling, and after millions of years of sinking, he finally reached the nucleus. Leonard stood anxiously upon the Leviathan structure that he didn't yet possess. He didn't yet possess it. Below him was a man. Knock, 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 knock. Leonard awoke. Am I still dreaming? It was a man with limbs. A man with many limbs. Sorry. A man with many limbs. I'll say, just read this story. Just recorded my reaction to your story. I guess my main question is, how many sausage rolls does this chubby man eat in a week? And yeah, I don't even want to talk about the ending. I don't want to talk about the ending. Um, can I? How do I add a description here? I don't know how to do this. Create a post. My YouTube channel. Stories from Tales of the Creek. Tales of the Creek. Tales from Creek. Let me just quickly. No, I don't use any of these. Stupid operating. Oh wait, do this, and then do this, and then do this. Okay, cool. Now I can stop posting my YouTube channel directly into the subreddit like a loser. Ooh, psychological horror. I'm a 9/11 operator and I failed to save a kid and his family. This is the third story we're reading and we're at 45 minutes. We're making way better progress on the second go. Do not watch episode 1. Episode 1 is a failure. I always wanted to be on the police force, to get in on the action that the officers in my city were so often acclaimed for, to reveal the spotlight of cracking open a case and watching it spill out all over the news. Water break. Okay. My problem is I have a big pickle jar for a water bottle or for a cup, and it's like I filled it up and I drink the entire thing. By the time I sit down, I'm like, well, that was stupid. I should have just filled it up again. And it has 24 fluid ounces. Oh, sorry, I didn't even mention this guy. He's a top 1% voter. His name is Donavini 211. I'm in your walls. He's got a profile picture of a cat. Not gonna get into that. Every single story. Okay, so didn't expect. Oh, I wish my girlfriend had been cheating on me. Classic. I found this. Post. So he's written a few stories. Oh wow. Check out his stuff if you like the story. I always wanted to be on the police force, to get in on the action that the officers in my cities were so often acclaimed for, to revel in the spotlight of cracking open a case and watching it spill out all over the news and airwaves. It's very childish. That's a detective, not a cop. So imagine my disappointment when instead of ending up in a speedy cruiser and a badge and gun, I ended up at a desk answering calls made for the exact people I wanted to be. Yep, I ended up as a dispatcher. How does that happen? First of all, how do you become a top 1% poster? Does that just mean he posts so much stuff to Reddit? He is a Redditor. He is a Redditor. How long is this story? Okay, I was thinking about switching it just because of the fact that I guess I wanted to cover more smaller people, but also he uploaded 18 minutes ago, so I mean, it's not all bad. There's honestly more action in it than most would think. Believe me, I have to go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, all within 5 minutes. I've had calls that made my blood run ice cold, ranging from desperate pleas of grown men on the brink of suicide to hushed whispers of a kidnapped woman attempting to escape their captor. Nope. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. However, I don't believe I'm ever experience a call quite as haunting as this one. Is this just going to be like about am I gonna race her about like some kid and like his entire family gets murdered? You see, most of the calls I get are from adults. I'm talking between the ages of 15 and 100. So this Redditor thinks a 15-year-old child is an adult. Next story. Shout out to the Red Death. What? Shout out to Red Death Mask, the narrator and critic. I don't know. The room. There's hair at the back of my throat. Nice. The story's longer than the last one I wrote, but it feels shorter because it's doesn't take as much scrolling. We're at 51 minutes. All right, this guy is Direct Key 1986. I like this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, they keep their posts hidden. I kinda don't. Reddit age 9 minutes. 9 months. I'm stupid. Okay, well, I guess I'll read his story anyways. I would say go check out their stuff, but honestly, don't do it because they clearly don't want you to. I can't seem to get it out. At first, I assumed it was my cat's hair. Nope. Okay, fine. At first, I assumed it was my cat's hair. I have white, long. Okay. A cat who's ruined more than her fair share of nice dress pants. Even with her hair daily, even with her daily brushings, doesn't matter. Sometimes I jokingly think that if I die suddenly, they'll find a ball of matter of hair somewhere in my own intestines, probably molded by bile and half digested food, probably. And your cat will also eat you the second you die. So it's not that uncommon to have a hair in my eye, nose, or yes, the back of my throat. Usually it dislodges by itself easily with a tall glass of water or after a meal. This is what I mean, like cat people. There's a difference between having a cat and being a cat person. And I really shouldn't be saying this on Reddit if I ever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But the hair won't budge. I considered calling up a doctor to ask if there was a trick of getting rid of a hair, but every time I opened up his contact on my phone, you have a. That's kind of neat. Yeah, you should feel stupid. What I really, and again, I'm not like this like anger or whatever it seems. It's not for the writer, it's for the, it's for the character. I considered calling up a doctor. I felt stupid. Would I really take the time out of his busy schedule to complain about a hair? It's not like it hurts or that's all that uncomfortable to me. After all, I love licking my cat with my bare tongue, so I'm used to it. I was sure he'd just tell me to wait for it to pass. I have a pretty bad gag reflex, and the constant presence of hair against the back of my tongue every time I swallow makes the process an ordeal. I've been eating less and less, only eating enough not to starve, but never, never to station. Never to satiation. I convinced myself it'd eventually pass and that I would look back on the whole event as a sort of weird but altogether harmless few days. That was until I felt the hair grow. I swear I'm not making it up. It's weird to say, but once you've felt the same thing at the back of your throat for days on end, unable to forget about the discomfort, you know what it feels like. The familiarity, the familiarity, the familiarity, the familiarity, familiar, familiarity, familiar, familiar, familiarity. Doesn't make it any more tolerable, but I know exactly where the hair started and stopped tickling, just barely touching the back of my tongue if I pushed it far back enough, but as of this morning the hair touches the root of my tongue, no matter how much I move it. The root of your tongue? Your tongue is a very long organ. Is it an organ? A very long muscle. I should be able to see it. Maybe pull it out. Oh yeah. Wait, what? Oh, I started reading while I was yawning. I should be able to see it and maybe pull it out. I inspected my throat carefully, turning every which way to try to see it poking out. It took a minute or two. I finally saw the hair, as it was black. That freaked me out bad. As I said, my cat's hair is white, and I myself am blonde. That was black. Gross. My hair's short. I live alone. I'm sure you do live alone. So how the heck did I swallow long, thick black hair? I rummaged through the cupboard for tweezers. No matter where the thing had come from, its assault on my discomfort would end right here, right now. I slowly baked I slowly backed the tweezers into my mouth, my teeth past my teeth and my tongue. The tweezer branch ended in a short chisel shape, and I definitely didn't want to hurt myself back there. I was wrestling my shaking hand into some level of stability and kept moving it back. It's funny how perspective works, isn't it? It's like your teeth feel huge to you because all you have for scale is your tongue. What? But when you pull them out, they're barely the size of a dime. What? Well, the same thing was happening here. Even though every movement would have been counted in millimeters, it felt like I was plunging my finger feet down my gullet. I fought back the urge to vomit as I finally moved the tweezers into position. Of course, by now I had lost the ability to see what I was doing and just ended up clamping erratically, moving slightly left or right until I feel as if I caught onto the hair and it would be able to pull it out. I forgot I fought back a heave at, when I first touched the hair and made it brush against my tongue. The third time I made contact, I successfully positioned branches, the tweezer branches around the hair and clamped down on it and prepared for the mental ordeal of slowly extracting it from its place. At least I would have it if the hair didn't twitch. At least I would have if the hair didn't twitch. She's sitting there fighting, or she is sitting there fighting with the hair and grabs it, and the hair twitches. Or they would have grabbed it. Why? I swear I'm not making it up. I swear I'm not lying. Is this r/, true scary stories, or is this Tales from the Creeps? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This wasn't me moving it accidentally without realizing. I had a decent grip on the hair. I pressed harder to make sure I'd pull it out and not slip. And the darn thing twitched by itself. I jumped in surprise and tried to pull the tweezers out quickly to let forth a stream of vomit. The thick slurry in the sink was brown with bits of uneaten food and a long red streak through it. My mouth was flooded with acidic taste of vomit and copper taste of blood. When pulling the tweezers away, I cut my tongue badly. Huh? What kind of tweezers are you using? How do you cut your tongue badly with tweezers? I have tweezers right here. And if I drag them across my tongue very hard right now, yeah, sure, it's sharp, but it didn't even grate. Doesn't matter. It's a made up story. Okay. Where was I? So the scalpels he was using as chopsticks to form tweezers cut his tongue pretty badly. I rinsed my mouth and opened up to see the damage. There was a gash about 1/4 inch long just past my molars, and blood was pouring out of it. I had no idea what to do. There would be no way the hair out be no way to pull the hair out in the torrent of blood. And anyways, I would have to find a way to stop it somehow. I freely It was freely pouring down my throat, forcing me to swallow thick liquid every second. Or you could spit it out um, every second, none of which helped with my growing nausea. How do you bandage the back of a tongue? Um, you really can't. It didn't hit me until that point. It was sharp and unrelenting. Every movement sent a wave of pain into the back of my head, all the way up to my ears, all the way up to my eyes. I realized how little control I had over my tongue until its every involuntary movement hurt. After a minute of confusion and shock, I decided I would have to stop the bleeding somehow, so I grabbed a roll of gauze and had to cut off a decent length and put pressure on the wound. I stood over the sink for a few minutes, trying to rinse out the blood and vomit with one hand and holding my tongue down with the other. Every so you got the gauze soaking wet. Every once in a while, I'd move my finger to better hold down the gauze and brush up against the hair. It was a stupid thing to think about a single hair, but I felt it was taunting me. It's a stupid thing to say about a hair, but I feel like it's taunting me. Um, Once the bleeding stopped, I tried pulling it out again. That might sound stupid. I don't think so, as long as instead of using two scalpels as chopsticks in an attempt to pull it out like a tweezers, you just find a normal pair of tweezers that aren't cut to razors. Uh, but I wanted to get rid of it. So my tongue had gauzed on it. I figured now would be the best time since the added padding would protect me. Okay. If I moved suddenly again. So I grabbed the tweezers, rinsed the blood off of them, and went right back to my task. It didn't take as long to find the hair this time. The confidence of the protection on my tongue and the fact that that I've done this before made me more bold. You done it before successfully? Sorry, that was just not right. Plus, I already threw up and cut my tongue open. What's the worst that can happen? I grabbed onto the hair, and again, when I clamped down on it, it had that weird twitch. I tried to convince myself it was my own movement moving it somehow, and I swear it moved itself. At least it didn't surprise me as badly, so I held my grip and started pulling it out. I managed to stretch it maybe an extra inch and a half until it stopped moving. I tried to keep pulling, but it just went taut and wouldn't budge. Eventually, the tweezers slipped, and I got a good look at the hair. It was thick and black, now rested lazily on my tongue, in stark contrast with the grayish white of the gauze pad. As I looked, sorry, my knee was bouncing. As I looked at it, I was overcome with a strange desire to stop messing with it. It's hard to describe, but it kind of felt like looking at a stray dog or baby. Mmm. Oh man, it's kind of like it's like they breed, and they bleed thing. But instead of like the guy being lonely, it's just like a cat person being like, oh, it looks like a stray, it looks like a stray cat, like a helpless thing just to leave alone and not bother. It didn't feel like an inanimate hair lying there on my tongue, but more like a living thing, sleeping gently on a large pink bed with a white gauze as a cushion. I shook off the feeling and aimed the tweezers carefully. This time, able to see exactly what I was aiming for. I picked up the hair gently and started pulling again, with a bit more force this time. My mouth has been open for a long time now, so it mostly dried out. I imagine that's how I managed to get a better grip on the thing. I pulled I pulled and pulled on it, fighting against whatever was pinning it down at the back of my throat. Progress was much slower this time, and almost painful, like pinprick at the base of my neck. Oh. Nevertheless, I kept pulling. figuring it would have to end soon, and I'd be rid of it for good until my arm gave out. I don't know how to explain it exactly. I was pulling the hair slowly, methodically, and my arm just went limp all at once. Oh, that's so. So now I'm envisioning like the hair was like in his elbow, in his arm. When he pulled it, it's like he pulled out a tendon, or like pulled out the string. And now his arm just went limp, and it's just like this thin little hair pain, right, like between his elbow. Oh, once I dropped the tweezers on the floor, they landed on the tile with a high pitched sound of metal. I couldn't feel my arm at all. It was like it had fallen asleep, save for the usual tingling that courses through it. It was just a heavy and useless. The only thing I still had in it was a sort of strange heat that I felt was in the shape of my arm. Wait. The only feeling I still had in it was a sort of strange heat that I felt was in the shape of my arm, but I had lost control over it. I hung there for a minute until I saw the tips of my fingers get dark red. Was my blood pooling? I heard corpses would get this weird bruise all along the bottom of their body because of the settling blood, since the heart no longer pumped and it kept it moving. Was this how is this somehow happening to my arm? With one hand, I did still control and grab my wrist and place it on the bathroom counter to make it more level with my heart. Maybe hanging so low was affecting how well the blood could course through it somehow. That did end up working as the redness faded from my fingers and my lifeless arm regained a normal color. Then, all at once, I felt the coldness of the sink against my waist, and my muscles jerked like a dead frog that gets electrocuted. Feeling came back all as quickly as I'd lost it. I regained the use of my arm just like that. I couldn't explain why, but I know the hair had something to do with it. I guess it's stupid to call it a hair now. It's definitely something else, something unexplainable. How else can I explain the weird thoughts I had about it, or the coincidental loss of control of my arm, just as I was getting rid of it? Somehow the thing, whatever it is affecting my body and my mind. It doesn't have much control yet, but if it can shut down a limb, what else can it do? Stop my heart? Create a blood clot in my brain? All of a sudden, this pathetic thing no longer looked like a defenseless thing, but instead a dangerous animal, cornering me and baring its claws, ready to attack at any minute. But that's stupid, right? It's nothing at all. It's just a darn hair in the back of my throat. I can't control my body. It can't control my body. It can't affect my thoughts. It can't do anything. I picked the tweezers off the floor with renewed anger. I wanted to get this thing out of me, whatever it is. If it's a weird hair or something else entirely, my mind was set on one single thought: get this out now. But what could I do if it stopped me again? I had only stopped the one arm for a short time. Was this just a threat? A show of power, maybe? Like, here's what I can do. Stop messing with me. My mind raced and made sense, raced to make sense of everything. If this hair was really reacting to my attempt to get rid of it, maybe it wasn't sentient enough to prevent me. Maybe it wasn't sentient enough to prevent me. Only react. Maybe it could influence my thoughts, but not read them entirely. Otherwise, it would have gone the offensive long before I'd begun to tear at it again, or tear it away. An idea came to me then. If I can make it unable to stop me, even if my arm gets shut down again, maybe I can run its defenses. I got a rubber band and pinched my fingers tightly around the tweezers, and I folded its, and I folded it on itself a few times so that it took considerable effort to open my fingers enough to part the branches. To part the branches? Okay, sorry. If I let my hands rest, it would be clamped down hard. I wasn't only going to circumvent its defenses, I was going to use them to my advantage. My fingers were deep red with the pressure of the rubber band, but I didn't care. I gripped the hair tightly and started pulling again. After a few seconds, like I had planned, my arm went limp, except this time I didn't let go of the tweezers, and now the whole weight of my dead arm was pulling on the hair. I felt it slide further and further down, elated by the success of my plan until it snagged. The slow descent of my arm stopped all at once, and the hair was past the tip of my tongue now, just stayed there, held down by the metal tweezers. The color that my fingers took on started to worry me, but I brushed it off. Nothing was more important than getting rid of this thing in my throat. I grabbed my wrist with my good arm and resisted the idea of yanking the hair since I figured it would make the pain much worse. But I had no idea if I pulled slowly, my arm would likely go limp as well, and I'd be defenseless. I took a deep breath and got a good grip on my wrist. Then I counted down in my head. Counted on three. I pulled down as hard as I could, all at once. The pain was intolerable. Felt my throat was being ripped open from the inside, but I didn't stop. I pulled with all my strength, and I heard a wet squelch of flesh tearing as the hair came loose. It landed on the floor with a slimy sound like stepping on mud. I fell just as quickly on my knees, buckling unexpectedly under my weight. My whole body went limp. I know I hit my head pretty hard on the tile floor, not from the pain, but from the sound it made, and the pool of blood that began growing underneath my eyes. I couldn't move a muscle, completely paralyzed from the neck down. All I had left slightly to orientate myself was my hearing. I saw the tiles, I saw the blood, and a foot or two in front of my face. I saw the hair, or at least I was calling a hair. Calling it a hair? At least I was calling it. I don't know. There were dozens of long, thick strands, like one I'd seen in the mirror, coming out of a small black bulb about the size of a quarter. I heard a very faint sound as the thing pulsed weakly, almost like a beating heart. I don't know if it was the blood loss of the head trauma that got to me first, but I passed out. I don't know if it was the blood loss or the head trauma that got to me first, but I passed out. When I came to, I had regained control of my body, but only weakly. My head was pounding like a drum, so I figured I banged myself up pretty bad when I lost consciousness. I managed to get myself to my feet, and I choked down as much water as my pain tolerance would allow. I looked down on the floor and noticed the black mass was gone. I knew it. I knew it was going to be gone. I knew it was going to be gone. That's so horrific. Like just being like a few feet away, laying on the floor, paralyzed, looking at a pulsing clump of hair like that. I'd have assumed the whole thing had been some sort of psychotic episode if it was not for the wet spot it left on the bathroom tile. The liquid was yellowish, like old pus and vic gelatin jelly like as well. Viscous as well. It took me a minute to have enough presence of mind to freak out. Where did it go? I stumbled through my apartment, knocking over chairs and anything that wasn't bolted down in an effort to find it. My lips tingled with how hard I pressed them together, but I thrashed around because I found her hiding. It's a cat. I found her hiding at the very back of the closet, tucked in a box of old clothes. She looked up at me with her big yellow eyes, and even dim lighting of the closet, I saw it starkly against her snow white fur, a thick black hair coming out of her mouth. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. This is a perfect one to end on. Absolutely, definitely. It's a great story. I know I was sounding pretty harsh and kind of reading kind of fast, but um, yeah, I know I sound a little harsh reading it, but it was a very good story. Yeah, I mean, it's just very simple, just a hair, and like everybody knows that feeling of a hair. Like the thing about like your teeth feel giant. I was feeling my teeth. I didn't really get that, but I mean, everybody knows the feeling of having a hair in the back of your throat and like feeling that hair like move or like grow and like get bigger and you just can't get it out. Is very that's a very bad feeling. And yeah, he tried to pull it out and his arm went limp. And obviously there's a visual there that I made up in my head about it being like a string pulled away from his arm or like ripping out basically, I imagine, like, ripping out, like, a stitching or having, like, a stitching, like, just go up one long string up into your elbow, and you're just pulling it out. Very, yeah, absolutely a great story. Um, you're about to see how poorly I spell absolutely. Great story. I read quite a few today, and this was definitely very good. Very good. I recorded my reaction. As I recorded my reaction to reading reading your story. Yeah, just absolutely a great story. Absolutely a great story. I read quite a few stories today, and it was definitely very good. Definitely very good. Appreciated the story a lot. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Can I save this? Save. Ooh, so now I can start saving all the stories that I like. So then the other story that I'll save that was on a different video was the other great story that I read today. Save. All right, so that's it. If you want me to read your story, DM me on Reddit or send me a message on Discord, or I mean, not Discord, on YouTube. Leave a comment on YouTube and I'll read your story. Just hit me with the link and I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. Thank you very much.